Welcome to my channel. I'm sorry I'm kind of laying down. This is the beginning of my channel, and I and my wife, my beautiful, sweet, loving wife, we live in the forest on someone's property in a fifth wheel. So we've lived here for 4 years, and we've learned a lot. So this channel is to not just share experience, but try to inspire, to give people who might not have a lot of confidence in themselves to figure things out and get things done, to first of all realize, to be realistic, that things take time. Some of us are really good, and I'm not talking about myself here, some people are really good at finishing, following through what they start, doing something until they finish, and then moving on to the next thing. Me, on the other hand, there's some good reasons why. I mean, not that it's a good thing, but I struggle with that. So I tend to have, I'll just say it this way, I have this and this type of thinking, not this or this type of thinking. So I want to do this and this and this all in one day. And so it's quite a lot for me to rein in and finish what I start. Is it raining? So we partially live off grid, and it's been about 4 years. So this February 2025 should be 4-year marks. I'm going to get into a little bit on very briefly how we got here, how we got a discounted RV at a very, very extremely low rate, and how we got here. And before I get into the quick summary of how we got all that, I just want to give thanks to, first of all, God. Second of all, my parents, who not only raised me, but supported me and honored me and my personality, what I really needed, and was very kind, and how they've treated me and my wife since we've been married. Just across the board, my parents have been great. My wife is so beautiful, so loving, so sweet, the sweetest woman inside out, most beautiful woman inside out I've ever met. I will continue to madly fall in love with her, and I want to give a shout of praise to her too, and for all of her support, not just of me, but of others. She's gracious, and even when she's hurt and there's things that aren't right, she's still gracious. She's still loving. She's still kind. She's very sweet. And then, obviously, friends and family. Even if I haven't seen you for a long time, even if there's a lot of things, unknown things that I haven't been able to update you lately on things. I love you, and I love you not just for what you do, but for who you are. So this channel is I'm going to show some things that we've done around the property in the last 4 years, things that we've learned, and there's so many things, but definitely just to quickly give you a summarize how we got here. We had an acquaintance. I've met him before, but he was an older gentleman, a sweet, sweet man, and he was living in our RV that we own now, and he wanted to get rid of it because he was moving into a fixed income unit or apartment, and in order to qualify, he couldn't have so much money in the bank account, but he had to move out of this RV from his RV park, and it was just too much for him walking around up and down the stairs of his RV, that he needed a flatter place. That's why he needed to move. So because to qualify, he had to sell this RV at a very, very low rate. So my first tip, and I heard this from my parents. My parents told me about him, and he got in touch with me, and so on. And that's the short story. But yeah, just a tip is if you're looking for an RV that is really, really low cost, or you know somebody who wants to get an RV that they don't have a lot of money, that could be an option. This isn't advice. This is just, just let people know. Sometimes we struggle with asking for help. People do. And if you do, or if you know somebody who's trying to get something that they find it hard to ask for help, it's okay. Just go to an RV park, start talking to people that have RVs. Asking them, do you know anybody who needs to sell their RV at a really low cost because this is my situation? Briefly tell them, and maybe you can get a really good deal that way by just talking to people. And even if it's not right away, people always have maybe you in mind and remember you later on and then call you. And then how we got here, which we lived in the Bay Area, we were so tired of living around traffic, having, just cement everywhere, a lot of people. And, my wife and I didn't want to go to an RV park where there's a lot of people. So we decided, we're going to think about this. And there's a lot of other layers to this circumstance that we were in. And but what we did was we asked a couple of friends if they knew anybody who had property that we can park this. And at the time, we were already parked in a nice location. But there's other circumstances that we decided, well, let's just see, what happens. So two of these friends of ours contacted this couple that owns this property, or they have this property, and they live on this property. And I'll tell you in a minute how sweet they are, but and hospitable and loving. They just strangers, right? They called us up and had us come up here, and we met them, and they said, yeah. They actually had us spend the night at their place in their guest room, and it was so loving. And so we ended up moving it here, and I found somebody. Again, I had to ask for help to get somebody, another kind acquaintance of ours, very, very nice guy, and he drove this all the way up to the Sierra foothills. This is where we are, and 2 hours away from where we lived. And that's the short story of it. And we got here. We had some friends very kindly help us move things in place. I had to do some renovations before we completed the move. So my wife was still in the Bay Area while I did some renovations to the RV. And then we had a local person kindly moved it into the place that we were going to park it and then level it and everything. So so there was some interim things that happened. So that's how we got here. So I guess the second tip, I guess you could say, is this is someone's beautiful property. Some people are willing to at least meet you, consider. So it's a matter of finding the people. The effort that it takes is just calling around, asking friends. People know people who know people. So, and if you hit it off with them, my wife and I like to be very low key. We don't like to push anybody's buttons or demand anything. We don't want to feel like we're a burden to anybody. So, but at the same time, we've done it in the past where we've rented from people and they've expected a little too much from us. Like, if we're going to give you a little discount, then, you're going to have to do this and this and this. And I've learned that I can see that why that's reasonable. But for me, because of my the way I think and the way I can easily get overwhelmed sometimes, it's very hard and challenging for me. And to focus, it's hard for me to focus. Like I mentioned, I love this and this thinking, and it's not this or this thinking. So that's how we got here. And this is kind of what this channel is about. What do you think here? So I just did want to make another shout out to these landlords, the husband and wife. They're very, very loving, very, very bend over backwards for you if you ask for anything, which we haven't asked for a lot. just some basic things, like he helped me trench for their septic tank, because where we landed, the RV had no RV hookups at all. So we started with the septic, and then we just ran a hose down to a hose bib about 100 yards away. But then we recently he dug a trench all the way up to our RV and put a new hose bib for us. Is that kind or what? Right? As soon as I asked, hey, it's been my hose broke. Basically, my hose broke. It's been a few years, and he's like, oh yeah, no problem. He did it. Very hospitable people, very kind people. You could tell they love people, and I know that he loves people who aren't always nice to him too. I know he loves them, which it's nice to be here. So if we ever have to move, it'll be sad because we love them so much as part of being here out in nature. But anyways, that's the roundabout. The channel is about just to give some tips, not just entertainment, but just to encourage people to, that lack a little confidence, such as myself, to get out and be yourself. Don't be afraid. Ask for help sometimes if you need it. And as you'll learn, as you see different things that we've done, it takes time, but it's still in development. We're still trying to get some basic things in place after 4 years. Again, a lot of people could probably do it a lot quicker than me, but this is just our circumstances. We've gone through a lot too. I won't get into that. That's not what this video is about, but we've been through a lot. There's been a lot of deaths in the family. There's been circumstances, injuries, lots of things. So, but I hope you are well, and thank you for watching this video.